Yeah, what's good, cryptocurrency fans out there? Welcome back to the Everything Altcoin channel. Today, we're going to be talking about an undervalued blue chip right now. I believe this is going to be a blue chip. It's crazy what they're doing. They got a DAT, they got monthly recurring revenue, and there's some actual rumors of them having their own layer one very soon here. So before we get into talking about everything about Aether as of right now, because I haven't done a big Aether update in a while, I would like to ask you guys, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already. We're on the road to 30K subscribers, so if you guys want to help out with that, hit that red subscribe button. Don't forget to like the video, comment what you guys think down below, and while you guys are down there, you guys can hit that Discord link to join the Discord to continue the crypto conversation we're having daily, and you guys can ask your most important question: how does that Patreon group work? As you guys know, the altcoin chasers and I have been getting into some bangers. We've been getting into some big plays. Recently called out another banger in the Zora ecosystem. So when you guys go scroll on Patreon, you guys get to look through all the posts. Like I said, I'm going to try to keep this as updated as possible because we've been getting into a lot of Zora plays, agents, base plays, just overall killing the whole base ecosystem. I think we're going to be I'm gonna be looking at other ecosystems very soon here, but my main focus has been on base as of right now. We have been doing a good job on base as of right now too. So lastly, you guys can check out the ebook to the Essentials to Mastering Tokenomics. This will help you guys pick out the next gem of your cryptocurrency portfolio once you're able to understand market cap, FDV, circulating supply, a narrative, vesting. All of that is very important to picking out the next gem of your cryptocurrency portfolio. So check that out as of right now. Also check out the block fit if you guys want to get yourself some crypto apparel, some swaggy crypto apparel. Links for that will be in the description and in the comment section down below. So make sure you get yourself in the Patreon group, and let's get right into the video, guys. So when you guys are looking at Aether right now, it is above 5.5 cents, sitting just under a 700 million market cap. As you guys can see, it is at its all-time highs regarding market cap, but in terms of price, it's really not at its all-time highs, and it's not even far from its all-time high, being about 11 cents. So it's down 52% in terms of the actual token price. In terms of market cap, we're at the all-time high. That is due to inflation from the tokenomics and things like that. Now I believe that Aether is actually one of those big blue chips that not too many people are actually talking about because of the things that they have been building out, right? They recently announced a DAT. Right? Now, if you guys don't know what a DAT is, it is a digital asset treasury, which is coming from Predictive Oncology, right? They're listed on the NASDAQ, right? And they're going to be launching a 344 million Ether digital asset treasury. So what this DAT is going to pretty much do is accelerate the access of GPU AI infrastructure for businesses, right? Supporting the self-sustaining flywheel of compute and value. Not only that, it gives mainstream investors exposure to decentralized AI infrastructures through PO, which is going to be listed, like I said, it's listed on the stock market as of right now. Now, why this is so important is because AI's biggest bottleneck is compute access, right? In today's world, GPU compute is a strategic resource, unlocking innovation and driving competitive edge for countries and businesses alike. The DAT treasury is pretty much designed to change that by scaling to thousands of NVIDIA GPUs, giving investors direct exposure to yield tied to real utilization and offering AI innovators 40 to 80% cost savings compared to centralized cloud monopolies. Now, I have seen an uptick in interest for Aether. ATH, you guys can see here from Miles' tweet, ATH DAT is one of the smartest treasury models I've seen. Many interesting flywheels here. We're going to talk about the post that the co-founder has actually put out, right? But it is one of his biggest AI holdings heading into Q4, right? So let's get into what Mark has talked about. The first note is going to be the DAT advantage, right? Which is cash raised as a percentage of the treasury asset circulating market cap. Aether's DAT raised 52 million in cash, equal to 7.8%. It's 667 million circulating market cap, right? The second highest to date behind ENA. Now, the significant advantages to having more ATH in the treasury that still results in a revenue for the DAT and resulting in buybacks, right? You guys can see here, if you guys are looking at this thing as of right now, they're just under ENA, which is going to be, they have their TLGY, which is pretty much their DAT right now. You guys can see ENA has their own DAT. Now, adjusting for the fact that roughly 50% of Ether supply is locked in staking, foundation, or compute commitments, the effective ratio becomes even more pronounced, enabling a flywheel to spin at much faster rates. Now, I think that that advantage too is one of the most important parts to this whole thing for Aether, right? Because that on market buys create sustained demand. where you guys already know when we talk about supply and demand in the ebook, right? Unlike other DATs, the Aethir DAT will purchase tokens on the market, guys. This is on the open market, right? That's going to drive supply and demand. Every purchase adds real demand pressure that supports the health of the token ecosystem. That Aethir DAT becomes a channel for TradeFi capital to buy ATH on market. So why I like this is because it's essentially taking supply off the market, right? You guys already see when Bitcoin, you know, the supply, the ETFs, they're purchasing a bunch of Bitcoins. What does that do? That actually takes a lot of the supply off the market, creating a supply shock over time, right? So what does that do? That actually fights and combats the inflation that's coming onto the market from private sales, private investors that are getting their tokens monthly and things like that, which is where that DAT Advantage 3 comes in, right? That is a token sink, reducing circulating supply. After the Aethir DAT purchases tokens on the open market, they are transferred into the DAT treasury, where the tokens can now be used to stake, to onboard compute to the Aether network, generating yield, or book compute on the network for enterprise computer customers, right? Generating revenue. The Aether DAT does not sell tokens, it accumulates and deploys. These tokens do not come back into circulation. Over time, this steadily reduces the amount of tokens available in the market, creating a lasting scarcity that strengthens the token ecosystem. What are we talking about here? Supply and demand. If you guys read the ebook multiple times, or well, just one time, that's all you really need to know, just to understand the supply and demand. They're buying a bunch of tokens off the open market, reducing the amount of tokens that's going to be available for you and I to buy. And those tokens aren't coming back onto the circulating supply, meaning there's not going to be a lot of tokens for us to buy, meaning that is going to create a supply shock over time. Now, this supply shock may be felt this cycle or within this Q4 that we're having, or it could be, of course, going into the next cycle. As of right now, I am positioned to get my own tokens. I've been buying some, and I'm also in the private sale. If you guys don't remember, I'm in the private sale of Aether, so I've been accumulating my Aether tokens. Now, another reason why Aether is a big blue chip that a lot of people are missing is the fact that they're actually having revenue. They're actually bringing in revenue into their ecosystem. July and August were record-breaking months for Aether, averaging $13 million in revenue per month, with September still ahead, right? This is pretty much, they posted this last month. We're now in October. They're probably going to update this. Q3 is shaping up to be our strongest quarter. Going into Q4, I want to see how that is going to operate, right? We're on track for 39 million in network revenue this quarter, 20% higher than Q2, which is 32.6 million, right? A clear sign of steady growth and momentum. Do not fade revenue that is this big right now. Now, lastly, I want to talk about a little thing that I've seen when I was, doing some more research on Aether here, right? So Web3 Gen 0 has put out this tweet here, which looks pretty interesting. Now, I don't know if it's going to be true or anything, so take this with a grain of salt. We don't know how things is going to operate, but this looks pretty interesting when it comes down to Aether. So he says he was digging on Aether Cloud's LinkedIn, right, and found some alpha. They're hiring a product manager, AI and Web3 infrastructure, right, which is pretty much they're going to be their layer 1 blockchain, right? If you guys need a job, go apply for that. I don't know if it's still open. But the description of the job is pretty much saying we are building a next generation layer 1 blockchain designed to support AI native agents through secure decentralized infrastructure. So this is important because people looked at Aether as pretty much a DePIN infrastructure competing with Render, but now they're going to be changing and adding an L1, right? They're going to be moving from a infrastructure participant to a foundational layer. This could also mean that the Aether token will evolve into a gas token, right? If Aether launches its own chain, Aether will likely become the native ATH, will likely become the native fee token, right? This is also important because of the buybacks that is happening with the treasury, the DAT, right? That is going to make this even more scarce, guys. This is interesting right now. So now when you look at the tokenomics upside, ATH stops just being a reward token. It becomes a gas token, network activity, compute incentive token, which is going to be for the DePIN. That dual utility equals more sticky demand. And he's not mentioning the DAT just yet. When was this even posted? This was posted just last month as well. So this is interesting, guys. This is getting very interesting. They have announced their DAT, right? They got huge monthly revenue, right? And there's a potential at a layer one for Ether, right? ATH. This is going to get interesting within the next few months. I want to see what they're going to announce, right? So let's get into a little bit of price prediction. Remember, take all of this with a grain of salt. We don't know what's going to happen, right? But a little bit, now that the little bit of the total supply has now been added onto the circulating supply, right? Meaning the market cap now is at 693 million. Let's just say 694 million, right? If Ether was supposed to reach the market cap of Render at the market cap it has of today of $1.8 billion, right now one ATH would be worth 15 cents, an upside of just 165%. Nothing really crazy. But as that DAT continues to buy on the open market, if there's a potential that we can see a layer one for Ether, things could get pretty interesting. I'm not saying it's going to do all of this cycle here, right, or the last few months we have of Q4. But if it reached about a market cap of 6.1 billion, that would put Ether around 50 cents. That is an upside of 781%. And a dollar would be worth 17x, which it will put it at a 12.2 billion market cap. Now, is that doable? Who knows? But I do know AI is getting AI compute, GPU, all of that is very important to the whole like AI futuristic future that we're going into. So one thing I'm not going to fade is Ether going into Q4 here or going into the next cycle. Ether, peak, those have been things that I can see being a next blue chip of next cycle. Even looking into the bear market, people are going to be looking into these two plays. But I want to know what you guys think. Leave your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you guys haven't subscribed there yet, please do so. When I road to 30k subscribers, and I'll check you guys later. Peace, you too.